From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme 3 podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme 3 podcast. Each episode of our show means one theme, 3 movies, and a whole lot to unpack. And fair warning, before we get started, there will be spoilers ahead. I'm your co-host, Bella F. Stratus, and today I'm joined by my extraordinary co-host, Nicholas Ibarra, and Gimme 3 producer and LADFF director, Sonja Mereu. The gang is all here. We're back.
Hi.
Hello. The full gang. Full regalia today.
Exactly. It's so nice to all be back on the show together. It's been a minute, actually. And I'm so excited for this episode and this series. For those who are new to the show this year, this is a 3-part series where we each pick our top 3 favorite films of the last year. And each year we like to kind of switch it up a little bit. So next week, get excited for another new special guest to join us to discuss their favorite film of 2025. Last year, the 3 of us tackled our favorites of 2024, which, looking back, was actually a pretty amazing year for movies. We talked about some of the most captivating, strange, and unusual thrillers like A Different Man and Love Lies Bleeding, the beautiful horror of Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. Sonja introduced the exciting debut of Irish rap group Kneecap, unlocking a newfound obsession for me. We dove into underappreciated masterpieces like Nickel Boys and Sing Sing, our favorite blockbusters with Challengers and The Wild Robot, and we concluded with the surprise Best Picture winner, Anora. But, what a fun variety of movies, I would say. And this year is no different, really. Personally, I have to admit, before we get started, I've been lacking in 2025. I'm ridiculously behind on movies from last year, but I will say this, from what I have seen, this year is not disappointed. And I think even some of the films that we're talking about in this 3-part series have made their way onto my favorites of all time list. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm notorious for recency bias, but I mean it this time, I swear. But how has it been for you guys? I know last year, Sonja, you watched like every single movie ever released in 2024. How did you do this year?
I did pretty well. That's why I said I was excited to come on these I would do as many of these episodes as you wanted, because I was like, I'm pretty confident I'll have seen all the movies. But then, of course, Bella was like, I got to watch a bunch of horror movies. And I was like, oh, no,
yeah.
I didn't watch those.
I ruined it.
Like for the Producers Guild, there's one movie, the movie Weapons is nominated. And I told Nick he has to watch it and then tell me where to rank it, because I'm not going to watch it. But I've seen all the other ones. Where did I get with last year? 2025 premieres, 45 movies that came out in 2025.
Wow. 45 is a lot. 45 new movies.
Lord.
That's kind of, you know what though? LADFF, I'm sure skewed that. I'm sure some of those are short films.
But I bet you a bunch of those were also 2024 releases. So I bet you there's not that many shorts on there. That's almost a new movie every week.
Yeah. I mean, that's about right. Well, the year before I did 48 new movies, and we didn't do LADFF that year. So yeah, it could be mostly features.
I always at the end of every year, I'm always like, was it a good year for movies? And then I look at the movies I watched, and I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, when I'm making my list, there's like 18 runners up, so that's always a good sign.
That is a good sign. Yeah, I feel like I have still so many more to watch. I was gonna say before we dive in, I was gonna ask if we wanted to do just one honorable mention that we didn't pick.
And that's going to include not ones that we're talking about over the next couple weeks.
Correct. Okay, yes.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I don't know what you guys are picking for the next 2 episodes because I so ungraciously was not invited to be on them. Just kidding. Thank you.
Fired is the correct term.
Nick and I are also like deeply in prep for the upcoming Valentine's Day series. If Twinless is not on either of your lists, which I know it's not on Nick's because he hasn't seen it, that would be my honorable mention. I loved that movie, and I am now like a full-blown Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney fan. I even ran up to James Sweeney at a screening of Train Dreams last week and like made him very uncomfortable. But I don't care. Yeah, big fan of Twinless.
I love it. Yeah, I caught a screening of Twinless this week, and it was my first time watching it, and it's tough. I'm debating. It may have to replace one of my other ones, but it's just it's so hard. But yeah, that movie is incredible. I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Fudge. So I'm gonna give 3 runners up because I can't pick just one.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Why can't we all give 3? No, just kidding. I know. We got to get to the meat.
Blue Moon by Richard Linklater. Just an outstanding performance by Ethan Hawke. The most delectable dialogue you'll hear this year. Best dialogue of the year, for sure. This movie called Dead Man's Wire by Gus Van Sant, starring Bill Skarsgård. And it's just an absolute thrill ride, pedal to the metal. Wonderful picture. Third and final runner up, I'm going to go with a movie called Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5 by Raoul Peck. It's a documentary about the written work of George Orwell and his like final years on Earth. And it takes a lot of the written work from his novels and journal entries and other essays that he had written about authoritarianism and fascism and how it affects him as an artist and how it affects society. The filmmakers take those written words and use footage from today, from, not only this country, but all over the world, as shitty people are taking over and ruling several countries. So it's a very powerful, very bleak documentary, but very important, very powerful, and empowering. Those would be the 3 that I would put as my runners up.
That sounds amazing. Now I'm a bit, this is maybe less powerful, but mine is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Well, more people saw that one for sure.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little embarrassed now, but I loved it, and it was hard for me not to pick it. So, there you have it. It's out there now.
I almost wish you did pick it, Bella, because so many people have been trying to get me to watch that movie. And it's not that I don't want to watch it. It's just I haven't gotten to it yet. So
you haven't seen it yet? Okay, well, I'll have to pick it for an upcoming episode or something. I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I'm sure Nick will love it.
I think so too.
I love K-pop.
Oh, then yeah, you'll love it.
And I love demons, so.
Then you'll love it even more. Well, this is going to be a really fun episode. I feel like the 3 movies we're talking about today are some of the biggest contenders for like best movie of the year. So we're starting off big, and you know what? Let's dive right in. Sonja, take us away.
Well, I actually talked about this movie on a Movie Minute a couple months ago, and I said that it was perhaps the movie of the year and maybe even the movie of the decade, and I still stand by that. That is One Battle After Another, the newest installment in the amazing career of Paul Thomas Anderson. The film opens with an introduction to the revolutionaries, the French 75. We meet their ragtag and diverse group as they're about to free a few hundred people from an immigration detention center on the California-Mexico border. Ghetto Pat, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, that is the explosive expert of the group, and he is instructed to put on a show to announce the start of the revolution. Perfidia Beverly Hills, played by Tiana Taylor, is one of the leaders of the group. She's super hot, extremely self-possessed, and goddamn fucking serious about the revolution. During the activity at the detention center, she meets the director of the center, Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, played with Disgusting Beauty by Sean Penn. Oh, and she finds him disgusting, but he's smitten and he becomes obsessed with her. As the French 75 continue to conduct their revolutionary activities, Lockjaw spies on Perfidia and learns that she and Ghetto Pat are lovers. He eventually confronts her and tells her that he won't stop her from doing her illegal activity if she fucks him. So fuck him she does, and she gets pregnant. She lets Ghetto Pat believe that the baby Charlene is his daughter, and he adores her. During a bank robbery with the French 75, Perfidia kills a bank guard. In the aftermath, the French 75 help Ghetto Pat and baby Charlene flee to Northern California to a haven city called Backton Cross and assume new identities. To get out of serving time, Lockjaw brokers a deal with Perfidia so that she'll become a rat on the French 75 in exchange for witness protection. Lockjaw thinks now she and he will be able to be a happy couple, or at least happy secret lovers. Of course, he's completely wrong, and she flees to Mexico as soon as she has a moment away from him. We meet back up with Pat and Charlene, now Bob and Willa, 15 years later. Perfidia has never returned, Bob has become a paranoid stoner, and Willa has grown into a very smart but sad and angry teen. Their lives seem like they could go on like this forever, until Lockjaw tries to join a secret, creepy society full of white supremacists who are going to do a background check to make sure he's never had an interracial relationship. Well, he has to hide the fact that he was in love with a black woman and has a half-black daughter. So he summons the full power of his ice-like battalion and deploys them to Backton Cross to conduct raids on the immigrant community. But really, it's all a guise for him to hunt down and kill Willa. Luckily, the French 75 learn of the raids and extract Willa, hiding her in the nearby desert in a convent run by marijuana-growing nuns. However, she secretly keeps her cell phone and Lockjaw is able to locate her. Meanwhile, Stoner Bob enlists the help of Willa's karate sensei, Sergio St. Carlos, played by Benicio del Toro. Sensei Sergio has his own shit to deal with during the raids because he runs, in his words, a Latino Harriet Tubman thing, where he secretly gives immigrants a place to hide and builds underground tunnels for them to flee. Once he assures that the immigrants are safely hidden in a church, Sensei helps Bob find Willa at the convent. However, he's too late because Lockjaw found her first and he's going to kill her. This all leads to one of the most tense and creative car chases I've ever seen.
Amazing.
So one battle after another. Yes, I know that was a lot, but this is a complicated movie to describe.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on. But at the same time, totally digestible. And I think maybe the most mainstream movie that PTA has made in a way. I would say besides Boogie Nights, although, Boogie Nights is about porn and cocaine. So that might not be like for everyone. But yeah, I think he swung for the fences. He made a big movie that's super specific, super topical, extremely relevant, but also so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of One Battle After Another?
Yeah, I mean, this is an epic. It's pertinent. It's masterfully woven. It's so politically charged. Much like all three of the films that we're going to be discussing today, all three of the films have this masterful balance of drama and horror and tension and comedy, which are all elements that I think kind of permeate through every single day of this fucked up world we're living in right now. And I think that's why these films are hitting so hard and connecting so much with a wide audience, is because they are meeting the moment. We talk about the tumult of the world right now, and art has to be a way to like tackle that tumult, to have a conversation with it. And these three films do that. They meet the moment. And this one perhaps hits it hardest. It's awe-inspiring to watch PTA at this juncture, just because he's a master, and he makes it feel so effortless. But man, like there's just like certain moments, like after that first opening sequence where you're introduced to the French 75 and they kind of set up all the background and the history, and we cut to present day where we first meet
Bob and Willa.
Yeah. They do that needle drop of dirty work, and you're just like, God damn it. This guy is just I just feel it just feels like coming home watching a new PTA movie. It's like, God, this dude he was made for this. He was made for this, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like it feels it's so crazy to watch something that feels so real and relevant but also otherworldly at the same time. Like really fucks you up, honestly. Like coming out of that movie, I was like, you know, I'm thinking about the Christmas Adventurers and I'm like laughing, but I'm also like, that's real.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like both so funny. Like I'm laughing, but I also want to cry at the same time. The way that's executed in this film is just like it's flawless.
Yeah.
So the Christmas Adventurer Club house, this like suburban house where they have like an underground lair. That house, not the lair is a set, I believe, or like separate, but the house is where Reagan lived when he was the governor of California.
No way.
It's Ronald Reagan's house.
Yeah. And and it's like a kind of nondescript, whatever, rich house, but there's certainly relevance to that choice.
Oh yeah.
I also think that the guy they cast, Tony Goldwyn, who plays sort of like one of the heads of the Christmas Adventurers, looks a hell of a lot like Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think that was an accident.
No. I was going to talk about Leo. I mean, Leo has found this new stage in his career. He's had these different, whatever points in his career. I got the Swifties would call it eras. The Leonardo DiCaprio eras, this like last decade or so, he has been doing he's been playing these kind of like borderline comedic bumbling fools, these lost characters who have these crutches, most of the time being booze or drugs. And they have to like dig deep to pull something out of themselves and out of their asses. My God, it's probably recency bias to say it's the best work he's done. But this trilogy of performances, this Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Killers of the Flower Moon, One Battle After Another, like this trilogy of performances is some of the most entertaining and memorable performances of the last decade. And I'm not just saying that because people like to quote movies a lot, but when you hear people quote movies, a lot of times it's from like movies from the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s. You don't hear a lot of people quoting movies that came out in the last like 20 years. But I do hear people quoting Leo from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a lot. And I am hearing a lot of people quote Leo in One Battle After Another. Like it is a thing on set where people are just quoting this fucking movie left and right. And that's when you've got a memorable performance that sticks is when it is quoted.
Yeah.
Bob?
Who's this?
We have trouble ahead, and the road isn't clear.
Wait, excuse me? Who is this? Who is this?
I need the greeting code, Bob.
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't remember the fucking greeting code because I got a little bit high. And it's been fucking years, so you got to help me out here with this. I don't know.
You're going to have to think.
Right. Okay. The sun.
Think.
The sunrise. Sunrise in the west, right?
The campus has been raided and the Billy Goat has been taken.
Billy Goat is Howard Somerville, so Howard Somerville has been taken. He's been taken or killed. What's going on?
Taken yesterday, and it gets worse. The hammer is loose and en route to back Tampa.
Steve fucking Lockjaw? What in the motherfucking fuck? How could it get any fucking worse than that? You're saying
It's
Steve
high
Lockjaw?
alert, Bob.
What?
Nothing is secure. Everything is wrong. No one is above suspicion.
No. Slow down, okay? My daughter, my fucking daughter left the house. She's not in the house with me, so you gotta give me more information.
We're secure. Lady Champagne and her team have extracted Willa. She's safe.
Good. Okay, good. Keep her there.
The rendezvous points are the same as they've ever been. We'll be seeing you.
I'll be saying, well, okay, tell me the rendezvous point. What's the, hello? What's the fucking rendezvous point? Hello? Fuck. Okay, Bob. Don't panic. Don't fucking panic, Bob. Keep your shit together.
And another performance that's quoted a lot is Benicio del Toro's character and his performance. And it is just one of those moments in movies when I'm watching this movie for the first time and Benicio del Toro's character comes in this bitch. It's like I wanted to jump in the screen and be friends with this guy and help his operation. And I mean he's my hero, dude. I don't know what to say. You know, like I know Superman came out this year, but this is my Superman. Sensei Sergio San Carlos is my Superman.
I agree. In a movie that I clearly love enough to pick as the one movie I'm going to talk about from last year, the Sergio stuff is my favorite stuff. And, you know, overall, it's just the first time I saw it, I was like laughing and crying during the escape scene when they're raiding his hideout, I guess we'll say, for lack of a better word. I was so moved, you know, and we also saw this in the midst of people in our community being ripped away. Or it's still happening. But yeah, I was so moved. But I was also just laughing so hard at like his performance and how freaking zen he was relative to Leo's like panicked hot mess.
Yeah.
And then props to the freaking production design of his house. There's like fake velvet paintings with like a tiger on it on the wall and like maybe a sexy lady or something. I don't know. It's just, it's perfect. So
That's
yeah.
so true. Yeah, that whole scene is just or that whole sequence, it's one of my favorites of the film, which is so hard to say though, because I feel like I could say that about every single part of the film as well. But yeah, I totally agree, Sonja. Like his zen versus Bob's manic episode, basically, of like you would think that Bob is the way that, I mean, shout out to Leo's performance in that as well. Like when he's looking for that outlet to charge his phone, you would think that he has to take the world's biggest shit. Like he's like literally looking for a bathroom. Like it's that energy, you know, where you're just like desperation, but it's almost like a physical desperation which makes it so funny. And then, yeah, you have Benicio who's just like, yeah, cool, whatever, man. It's, you know, and he's got this crazy situation happening literally inside his home right now. And I agree with you, Nick, as well. Like Benicio is the Superman of 2025. Ugh, so many layers to this film to unpack. It's honestly hard to do. We could do a whole episode on just this film, I feel like.
If we're going to be talking about the acting or the performances, the characters, we could talk about all of them. But I feel like we must make sure to talk about Sean Penn. Yeah. Because he would be my vote for Best Supporting Actor this year. I don't know who made a bigger impression on me than him. I mean, talk about lack of vanity. Just one of the most horrifying people and someone who I'm sure really exists on many levels in all levels of our government.
He like perfectly embodied the repulsiveness and just like the dangers and like horrifying nature of like a lonely, powerful, prejudiced white man. Like it's the ultimate villain.
You got a baby?
Yeah.
Male, female?
She's a girl.
What's her name?
Charlene.
Charlene. Sounds like a black girl's name. You like black girls? I love them. I love them.
Without explicitly saying it, they are constantly alluding to why part of the reason why he does the things he does, and it's just to fucking fit in. He wants to be accepted by, this class. He wants to move up, which we're going to talk about in another movie later, but he wants to be in the cool kids club, essentially, in his mind. And that's why he's doing so much of this evil, demented shit, was just to keep up with the Joneses, essentially, which is just it's such embodiment of this country and how fucked up and twisted it is and can be.
Yeah, it makes me think of that line that Tiana Taylor has, Perfidia, Beverly Hills, where she says it to Leo. Actually, she says it to Bob. She says, "You and your crumbling male ego will never do the revolution like me." And I find it so fascinating because I feel like that she's got it twisted. Like that should be aimed at Lockjaw. Like I found that Bob actually, I mean, he's crumbling, but I don't really think it's because of his male ego so much.
Yeah, I didn't ever think of him as having a crumbling male ego. Leo, that is. Just because it seems like he's a puppy that's just happy to run alongside her until the baby's born.
Well, that's why he stops the revolution, because he's got a baby, and that like the family is the reason why he's like, yo, we can't keep doing this shit. We got a kid now.
Yeah. No more running with the wolves.
But it's tricky because like when you have a child, isn't that all the more reason for the revolution?
100%.
But yet you can't be putting yourself in danger because you have someone else to take care of. Which is why, ultimately she comes across as not a great mom with her decision making.
Right.
Redeemed by that letter.
Redeemed by the letter at the end, and you get the sense beautifully that although they weren't both present, they were both the perfect parents for Willa, because what both of their approaches have created, this next generation of the revolutionary.
Yes.
And Willa is so good.
In her film debut, Chase Infinity, absolutely tremendous. We saw a Q&A with PTA a few weeks ago, and he was saying like, what did he say? Something, it was like a multi-year casting process trying to find the person to play Willa, the actress. And, patience is a virtue because they found her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's perfect. I mean, they also had to put production on hold for like 2 months to wait for Benicio because he was on set for the Phoenician scheme, I guess.
Right.
So a movie that took, and I think it took him 10 years to like finally get the script where he wanted. And it took him, his whole career to get the clout, to get the funding to make this movie the way that it was meant to be made, which was not cheap.
He was working on this screenplay for 20 years.
For 20 years. Yeah, and he had to wait for Leo to get old enough to play Bob.
Yeah.
So it all worked out. And then sadly, or maybe beautifully, I don't know, the first AD that did almost all of his films passed away like 2 months after they wrapped production. This was his last movie. So
before we move on, I just want to talk about the epic car chase a little bit, which is one of the best car chase sequences I can remember in a long time. And it's not just because the chase is like riddled with incredible stunts or high octane action, but it is very unique in that it's built on two great things that all memorable car chases have: tension, gripping, asses on the edge of the seats tension, and characters. You have to have your audience invested in these characters if the car chase is going to amount to anything. The characters are what transform an impressive car chase to, that epic knots in your stomach feeling. The setting for this car chase is obviously wonderful. It's a fresh approach. It's a road with all these rolling hills. So you're constantly seeing one, there's 3 cars involved. And then 2, you've got these 3 cars constantly disappearing and reappearing, and they're looking at the cars in the rear view mirrors, and they're looking through the windshield to see the car ahead of them. You never know what's going to be on the other side of that hill, which if you've ever driven through the Central Valley and been on these roads, it's unnerving as hell because you don't know what's on the other end. But when you're driving at 80 miles an hour, I can only imagine. But the drama lies within these 3 subjects and wanting desperately for a character to survive, wanting desperately for 2 characters to reunite, wanting desperately for one character to perish, and what all those things happening mean, not only for, the story, but for they can instill a sense of hope and purpose for when you walk out of the theater, which we all need. I mean, that's a good fucking car chase right there. It's epic.
One thing that stood out to me is like, it's a kind of a slow-mo car chase because of the hills, which is somehow even more tense than, like the usual car chase. Cause you're just like, oh, there's no way out of this.
Right.
And you have the sun setting in their faces. So they're like kind of blinded. Yeah. I've driven on that exact road. It's in Borrego Springs. It's near the border south of Palm Springs, I guess. And I've literally have nightmares about driving on roads like that, like where my car is basically like on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I keep coming to crest and I don't know what's going to happen. Such a creative, tense, beautiful car chase.
Mm-hmm.
It's an epic. If you have not seen it yet, check it out. I think it's still playing on limited screens, but mostly now it's available on HBO Max. They took it off of the big screens in most places. So HBO Max is a place to check out one battle after another. You know what you should do? You have a French 75 while you're watching one battle after another. Gin, champagne, lemon juice, a little sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get yourself a French 75 while you're watching the old one battle after another. And of course, let us know what you think of it.
Nick and Sonja generously gave me first pick of my favorites of 2025. And I think this is a film that we probably all would have put in our top 3, maybe. I don't know. Arguably the best film of the year as well. And that is Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Written, produced, and directed by Ryan Coogler. This film is set in the Mississippi Delta in 1932, and it stars Michael B. Jordan as identical twins, Smoke and Stack, who've returned to their hometown to open their own juke joint open to their local community. After buying the building, the twins pick up their little cousin Sammy, a brilliant young musician known as Preacher Boy, the son of the local pastor. And if they're going to open the juke tonight, they're going to need a whole lot of help. So Sammy and the Smokestack twins hit the town to round up talented crew of old friends. First up, entertainment. Their old friend and brilliant pianist Delta Slim, played by Delroy Lindo. Next, they'll need supplies from local shopkeepers, a Chinese couple named Grace and Bo Chow, played by Li Junli and Yao. They also bring on a field worker named Cornbread as their bouncer, played by Omar Benson Miller. Meanwhile, both twins reconnect with women from their past. Smoke visits his wife Annie, played by Wunmi Masaku, and their infant daughter's grave. It's here we learn that Annie practices hoodoo and works as the local root doctor. The two rekindle their relationship, and Annie agrees to cook at the juke that night. Stack, on the other hand, runs into his ex-girlfriend Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld, a white girl they both grew up closely with, and someone that he was forced to leave behind to keep them both safe. But she doesn't really see it that way. She's not exactly thrilled about the whole thing and gives him a pretty iconic stern talking to.
You know I waited for you.
Shit, well, I don't know why in the hell you gonna do that.
Because you told me you loved me.
Well, I told you to stay the fuck away from me too, but I guess you didn't hear that part, huh?
I heard you. I heard you loud and clear, but then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard, I figured you changed your mind.
Keep your voice down now. It's not exactly how I remember it.
Oh, it ain't. Remember falling asleep with your head on my chest? Leaving in the middle of the night without a fucking word?
The hell are you doing back here, Mary?
I buried my mama yesterday, Stack. Figured I might see you and Smoke there as much as she looked after you both. But I guess y'all love lasted as long as y'all could get something out of her.
You right. That's all she was. Food, warm babe.
Rotten hell, Stack.
Shit, I will.
As the group gets things together for their big opening night, we're introduced to a truly terrifying side plot with some pretty horrific characters. We have an old Irish immigrant vampire, plot twist, named Remick, played by Jack O'Connell. And he's turned a KKK couple into vampires, which pretty clear this will drum up some trouble down the road. Back at the juke, drinks are flowing, people are dancing, and Sammy makes his big debut on stage, wowing the crowd with his extraordinary talent, but unknowingly luring in these vampires who are bewitched by his music and voice. They want it. After a tense standoff at the door where the white vampires are refused entry, they linger outside in the dark, waiting to turn each club attendee one by one. But as the party rages on and the Smokestack twins begin losing money, Mary ventures outside to see if the creepy trio might be able to pay their way inside. Instantly sensing something is very, very wrong with these people, she turns to rush back inside, but it's too late. Suddenly, Mary returns to the juke looking flawless, not a mark on her. Cornbread lets her back in, and that's when she makes her first kill, ripping into Stack's neck, turning him into one of them. The party is shut down, everyone is ordered to leave, and the vampires feast. Realizing what they're up against, it turns into an all-out war between the remaining crew inside and the growing vampire army outside. But who will survive? But before we go into everything, there are just two major collaborators on this film that I really wanted to shout out, and that is Ludwig Göransson, who is one of my favorite composers. He scored the film and also served as an executive producer, which I think is kind of a testament to just how incredible it is, and especially with it's built on music. There's also Autumn Durald Arkapaw, the film's incredible cinematographer, who made history as the first female DP to shoot a movie on large format IMAX film. This movie, on top of that, the film also features this gorgeous alternating aspect ratios. It's combining IMAX, 70 millimeter. It's a visual spectacle, a genre-bending, thematic masterpiece. The cast and the crew were clearly operating on another level together. And for me, this feels like the birth of a new era of Coogler films, and even just a new era of movies and what they can be. So what did you guys think of Sinners?
For me, it felt like the rebirth of an old era of movies.
Oh,
that
okay.
Very old school 80s, 90s movie going event. You know, like this felt like this was at least for me, this was the movie going event of the year, you know, not just for me personally, but in the zeitgeist, like for film fans, and more importantly, for non-cinephiles. This felt like a movie going event because this was a movie that did well at the box office when it opened. And so many people absolutely loved it and sung its praises, and the word of mouth spread like wildfire. It did amazing. And it was in this very old school 80s, 90s way. The work spoke for itself. You know what I mean? Like you had some big stars in there. You had Michael B. Jordan, that's going to get asses in seats for sure. But it just felt like, I was like, yo, studios, did you guys forget how this was done? This is how it's done. You get a wonderful artist, you give them a great actor, you let them be the wonderful artists that they are, and, you know, good things will happen. And you put it in theaters, and, you know, you're going to make some money on this bad boy. And it was a wonderful experience. And just seeing it on the big screen in the few different ways that we saw it different formats and stuff. It was just a badass experience. And like we talked about with One Battle, you know, it's powerful, it's impactful, it's a socially conscious film if you want it to be. And if you don't want it to be, and you just want it to be a badass, horny vampire flick, well, it's that too. It's got that in spades as well. So yeah, it reminded me of a movie and a movie going experience that we need more of these days. And I wish that the studios would have taken a little more note of how this whole thing was rolled out. Well, we'll get into the details of that later, but they probably don't like the way that it was rolled out because Ryan Coogler was very smart in the way that he chose to work out the contracts for this stuff. But
yeah, well, not to stay on the like inside Hollywood marketing topic, but both One Battle and Sinners are from Warner Brothers, which is currently in the process of a very public sale.
Yep.
Or what have you. So there's that. So these people took chances, gave, these established auteurs, PTA and Ryan Coogler, like a fuck ton of money to make movies that are crowd pleasing and clearly are like based on the audience reaction, but do have something to say and are ambitious more than a lot of these larger budget films are typically. But both of them, I feel like they struggled to market them. Nick was like slightly involved with some of the marketing on Sinners, working on some content days. And, throughout the whole promotion of One Battle, I kept being like, the only thing that makes me want to see this movie is PTA and Leo's names on the screen, because the trailer kind of sucks. Like there's nothing that's drawing me in. And I think with Sinners, it was kind of the same. Like, the first trailer I saw about a year before it came out was the only one that really sunk its teeth in, so to speak. But I think it was Ryan Coogler going on YouTube and making that video like about the formats. I think that was impactful to their marketing campaign, because now everybody thinks that they know what a 15 perf IMAX is versus, 70 versus da-da-da-da-da. And, I have friends who give no shits about that kind of stuff. And they were like, oh, I'm going to fucking go see it in IMAX, or I'm going to go see it in 70. So I think that it's very interesting that Warner Brothers put out both these films and that they're so successful kind of in spite of the studio that released them.
Right.
But yeah, I love this movie. Yes. Nick and I saw it 3 times. We saw it just like regular screening, because I was like, we don't need to see this big format la-di-da and like, buy tickets a month in advance. And then like we left and I was like, okay, let's see an IMAX later this week. I was wrong. And then I got to see it last week in 70 at the Directors Guild, and like basically all the department heads were there, and they did an incredible Q&A specifically only covering the surreal montage of Preacher Boy's, first song. Ludwig was not there, but Raphael Sadiq, who actually like wrote the song, was there. Oh, so they talked a lot about that. I think it might be my favorite movie of the year, just in terms of like, if someone said, which one do you want to watch today? It would be the one I would put on.
Oh yeah. I couldn't agree more. Like, I found that this movie has so much rewatch value. Like even after, and I think it also just gets better and better every single time I watch it. Like I feel like there's always something new to discover. Like when I rewatched it for this, I was tempted to just rewatch it right again in that moment, because it's just so good. And I honestly don't even have words for it. Like I'm speechless a little bit when it comes to this movie, because I love it so much. And I think music has always been like a big part of my love for movies, like movie music, and the way that it can bewitch us or captivate us in different ways. And so I think that's a huge aspect of what drew me to this film. It also just feels like such a passion project, and you can get so many different things out of it in terms of like you said, Nick, if you want just like a horny vampire action movie, you get that. If you want a history lesson, you get that. If you want a family drama, you get that. And you can kind of like pick and choose what you want each time you watch it, or bring them all together. And it's
or take them all, and it's a levitating experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like each time it's something new and deeply affecting. And yeah, I think this is a masterpiece. And when I said that some of these movies are my favorite of all time, I know that this one is on that list. I think this is one of the best movies released in the last decade, and like one that I will always come back to anytime.
I think the horniness is so great and essential to this movie. There are well, first of all, thank you to Mary Haley Stanfield, is that her name? For bringing back the word coos. I love that. I love the expression on her face when even she knows it's kind of fucking hilarious that she's saying that word. But I love the way they shoot women walking away, and it's not in like an objectifying way, but it's like, that ass.
Coogler is an ass man like me. I can tell you right now. Fuck, that's where I was like, that's a man after my heart.
He's also clearly into cunnilingus.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that, Nick. But but also then like in the scene where Smoke goes to see his wife, Annie, they do like a close-up of her like reaching down and like touching his manhood through his pants. And we're just like, yes, please. And then like culminating with when Mary is a vampire and she's like drooling because vampires drool when they want to, suck blood, I guess. And he's like, you're drooling. And she's like, oh, you want some? And there's just like a shot of her like spitting in his mouth. And I was like, oh, why is that so sexy?
Everything is so hot in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sweaty. I mean, even Preacher Boy's gonna go down on a woman for the first time, and she's like, I gotta clean myself. I walked here. And he's like, no. No cleaning, nothing.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, these people are like real horny.
They're freaks. Freaks.
But a vampire movie without horny is never as fun as a vampire.
Not a vampire movie, honestly.
Yeah, it's gotta be a little horny. I want to go back real quick just to that musical sequence. What did you call it? The surreal montage, Sonja?
That's what they were calling it at the screening, yeah, for lack of a better word. Surreal ancestor montage, I think is specifically what they said.
Gotcha.
Oh,
it's
so good.
It's this, for those who haven't seen it, it's this epic Steadicam shot as Preacher Boy, Miles Canton, is performing. And the Steadicam shot goes through the whole juke. And it starts getting surreal as you see all these different musical influences from their ancestral past and then what would be their future. So you're seeing like hip hop influence and breakdance influence and all this stuff coming from like past, present, future. And it's just one of those scenes. I'll never forget seeing that scene for the first time and watching. I was like, God damn, this is special. This is something truly unique and special. Like, it's rare where, especially in a vampire movie, where you see something that's just like, never seen that before. That kicks ass.
Yeah.
That kicks fucking ass. You just know you're in the hands of a master and an artist who's so assured of not even so much his craft, but his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Can I give you a few technical deets on that?
Oh, please do.
Since I went to that Q&A. So one, like we discussed, this movie shot on like a very large format film cameras. Mm-hmm. So a Steadicam operator cannot be like walking around with like a full mag of IMAX, on their back or chest or whatever. So they had smaller reels, which could only shoot 70 seconds of film at a time. So there's like specific stitches, there had to be to make it feel seamless. Like they said one, like it crosses by the piano. Mm-hmm. And like that's a stitch. But the music was being played live for a good chunk of it. Wow. So they had to time it perfectly so that the stitch would happen on the like exact beat of the music. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna like stitch together. And at one point, they got like the perfect take of the first segment, because they do switch to playback once it gets a little more complicated and like all the other instruments coming in. But when it's just Preacher Boy, it's recorded live. So anyway, they're like, oh, we got like the perfect take, but we're like 2 seconds or 3 seconds early on the stitch. So Ludwig was on set every day. So he just went and like started rewriting and recomposing the song to like adjust for the time on set so that they could like immediately pick up and keep going. So yeah,
smart.
Just the benefit of having everybody there, you know, which on like the films I have worked on have been much lower budget, and like that's never the case. And you're always like, oh, I hope we can fix it in post. And the answer is often not really. But also, so they did a couple stitches. So like it goes through the whole thing, and then it goes up to the camera faces up to the ceiling, and then the roof starts burning open. And then it comes back down, and all the walls of the juke have burned down. And you just see everybody like celebrating in the fire. So they shot the fire first outside. They shoot the whole juke. And then on the last day of filming, they actually did burn the roof down of the set in the soundstage. And then in post, of course, Ryan was like, well, I actually want the camera to shoot past the roof and up into the sky. And they're like, well, we didn't film that. The VFX artist was like, I did go to Joshua Tree and shoot this really cool like time lapse of the sky recently. So I'll just throw that in. And then Ryan was like, perfect. I love Joshua Tree. He's from California. So he'd always, apparently every time he'd watch it when they were like going through post, he'd be like, Joshua Tree. Every time they saw that shot.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was crazy. They talked about how it was literally just like written as surreal ancestor montage, figure it out later in the script.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And apparently Coogler is a huge fan of just meeting and hashing it out. So he made sure that everybody was there every day, you know, that they could just come and meet and walk through it and talk through it. And that's what it takes. You know, these things don't happen by accident or without a village.
100%. I mean, so much of One Battle After Another, it was also figured out later, you know. The Benicio del Toro sequence was figured out once Benicio del Toro came onto the project, and they had to do a lot of shifting in the story for that sequence. The whole ending sequence was like not fully written. It was kind of the same thing. Like in the script, it was like, it's going to be a chase, but we don't really know how or what we're going to do. And it wasn't until they found the location by happenstance that they were like, okay, I think we'll do this now, you know? So sometimes you just got to get into it and start letting the art have its voice. You know, the piece will start to input its own opinion and say, hey, like we should do this. And then you as the artist just say, there you go. That's what it is.
I have a question for you guys. This is like a hot take, potentially question. Horror movie or not?
I
Yes.
feel like, I want to say yes.
Why? Why is it a horror? I don't think it is. Or I don't think it's a scary movie. So I don't see how it could be a horror and be not scary.
Well, I mean, just because you aren't scared by it doesn't mean it's not a horror movie. Other people would be scared by it.
I say like it has all the horror like elements, but isn't necessarily. I mean, there are times that I was like, I'll say like, to be honest, the jump scares in the very like intro of the film where they have like flashes of what Sammy's just gone through in that night. I was like, oh shit, okay, here we go. But after that, it like, it's one of those things I think where it's like, we talk about this in horror all the when we're talking about horror movies all the time, where it's like, once they show the monster, it's less scary. And the monster is like very much in your face in this. So it's never, I mean, also I will say when they show Remick and reveal him as a vampire in that couple's house, and he's like probably eaten their baby, and then also just devoured her husband and like they reveal what he looks like as a vampire. I think that's pretty scary. But so yes, I'm going to go horror movie. Yes. Maybe won't scare everyone, but there are elements that make it so.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. The purpose of the film is to evoke fear and unsettle the audience and its characters in a very supernatural and gothic way. And it's got a body count. It's got a body count like a son of a bitch.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, horror movie. Especially if you're a person of color, I think it's more of a horror movie than.
I was going to say, I think the horrific stuff is the stuff that's like more real world than the vampire stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that still counts, like Get Out, is a horror film that doesn't have a high body count, but still like those real world themes are horrific.
Yeah, and it doesn't have like a supernatural monster.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess my favorite movie of 2025 is a horror movie.
See?
Go frickin' figure.
You never know.
Before we wrap up on it, I know she plays a KKK member vampire, but I just wanted to give love to Lola Kirk.
Yeah.
Because Nick and I made a short with her, and I thought she was such a joy to work with, so talented. And she's a really talented, excellent musician.
Mm.
As much as her character is not the best, it was really nice to see her in this movie and to see her in a movie that is the best movie of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was happy for her.
Yeah, wonderful performance. Terrifying.
Yeah,
I know she's real creepy.
Really?
And I do like the vampire songs. I have to admit, they remind me of when I was in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
All right, Sinners. It is also streaming on HBO Max. It is one of those movies that is going to continually pop up on big screens, repertory theaters, especially because it was shot on film. There's 70 millimeter prints out there, so it's gonna pop up repertory and a bunch of anniversary screenings, and every year or every couple years throughout Los Angeles, you'll see it pop up on a big screen calendar. So check it out on the big screen the way that Ryan Coogler and the Lord intended.
I think actually we didn't mention that One Battle After Another was shot in VistaVision, also on a large format film. So I'm sure that'll be playing around as well.
100%.
Yeah, the year of VistaVision.
Well, this is only the second movie shot on VistaVision in the 21st century.
Wow.
The first being The Brutalist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on from it, I'm not going to do Gimme 3 letterbox reviews because we're already wildly over time. But I just wanted to give one, and it's from this person, Mac. She gave the film 4.5 stars. She wrote, standing ovation.
Wow. Fantastic. No notes.
All right, the final film that we are talking about in part 1 of Favorites of 2025, another auteur. We're talking No Other Choice. It's my selection, and it's directed and co-written by Park Chan-wook, based on the novel The Axe by Donald Westlake. And the film follows Man-soo, who's a veteran employee of a paper-making company. Not just any veteran, he's an award-winning veteran. And he has dedicated decades of his life to the paper-making business. And at the beginning of the film, we see how decades of hard work has paid off for him. He's got this beautiful house. He's got a wonderful wife. He's got 2 great kids. And of course, he's got 2 dogs, golden retrievers. So you know that they are the best boys. But this is, of course, just the first scene of the film, so you know shit's going to go wrong, right? And it does. After years of service and loyalty to his company, Man-soo gets the axe. He's terminated. You're fired. It's not just him. The whole friggin' paper industry is just totally contracting. And there are now dozens, hundreds of men who used to work in this paper industry that are now out of work. And there are precious few companies that are hiring, especially hiring the upper middle management position that Man-Soo once held. One company in particular seems to be dominant. It's really the only player in town. It's called Moon Paper. And the manager who has the job that he wants at Moon Paper, Seon Chu, unintentionally humiliates Man-Soo. And so months go by and he hasn't secured a good job, and his families might be losing the house that he grew up in, and he like moved around and he had to buy back. You know, it's very emotional. Man-Soo's wife is like, you know, we got to start making cutbacks, including getting rid of their dogs. A decision that absolutely breaks their kids' hearts. One day, by chance, Man-Soo, he sees the manager of Moon Paper, Seon Chu, and the thought crosses his mind. If I kill this guy, maybe I can get his job. But he restrains himself. He thinks better. Not morally better, just logistically better, because he says, well, if I kill this man, will I even get hired? How many people are at my level gunning for this position? And are they better than me? Are they more qualified? So Man-Soo puts out a fake ad for a boutique paper company and calls for resumes. And he looks at all these resumes and finds out the few men that, you know, would be able to compete with him for this position. And he sets off to kill these men. And he goes on this wild journey to do everything he can to dispose of these folks so he can be the one to get this position if he were to kill that manager. And while all that's happening, his family starts to fracture. His wife, because he's out all late at night and whatnot, starts suspecting him of having an affair. He starts suspecting his wife of having an affair. His son starts getting into trouble. And his daughter, she retreats into deeper into her introversion. But in his mind, Man-Soo must get this done. He has to support his family. He must regain his self-respect. He has no other choice. What did you guys think of No Other Choice?
Yeah, this movie is amazing. It is thrilling. It is hilarious. The cinematography and editing is so inventive and just absolutely mesmerizing. Like every beat has intention and evolves to take on new meanings throughout the film. Like there's just such a rich visual language. Yeah, I think it's so fascinating to watch this movie, which is clearly rooted in Korean culture and norms, you know, like the pressure and expectations of the family patriarch and the dog eat dog economy or job hunt, but that also like spans across or can connect to so many other cultures in different places. Like this movie is honestly relevant to the way the whole world is operating right now. Capitalism, but also just the introduction of AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, I was looking at like your Letterboxd review of this, Nick, and you called it one of the most horrifying films of the year. And I totally agree. The sad part is, in a way, like the horrifying aspects of this. I mean, obviously the murders are horrific, but it's also more like the desperation of him finding a job to support his family.
That's
and
what
that's
I was
like,
referring to.
yeah, I'm like, I didn't want to sound like too, you know, like obviously the murder's horrible, but the real horror of it is just like his desperation and the lengths that he feels he has to go to not just even get a job, but like what it means to have a job, if that makes sense, and like how it defines him and his family.
I was just going to say, in capitalism, your job is your identity. You know, it's like, what do you do is the same meaning as like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, so he's like completely lost his sense of self and place. And even if the people who love him don't see it that way, he's like unable to see himself without a job to define him, and without, you know, money. But it seems like money is secondary to like identity for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for all the guys, because we see the other two men who, spoiler alert, that he kills, the first two men he kill are other guys who have been laid off in the same industry. And we see how much they're struggling with who they are.
Mhm.
One more than the other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One is a complete degenerate alcoholic. The other one, seems to be holding it together maybe because he has a child. But yeah, I mean, it's really tragic.
Yeah, this one hit hard for me, as I'm sure it did for a lot of people watching it, because, like you said, what makes this film and this story, because based off a novel, so great and relatable is like this is happening in so many industries right now because, corporations are combining. There's contractions happening. AI is going to take so many jobs. It's really, sorry, not to get bleak, but it's over. Like, it's the end of the world. We're looking at it.
It's bleak times.
It's bleak times. So we've got so many generations that can relate to this film. We've got so many industries that can relate to this film. And we've got so many nationalities that can relate to this film. I mean, I know several people who in the film industry who have not worked in months, some years, like have not been on set in years. And it's just like, it's absolutely heartbreaking. So I couldn't help but, have some sense of understanding in relation to this. And like, if you've ever had a family member who's been laid off or something, it's like, it's tough. But yeah, as you said, also, it's just like, there's a few things that are super tragic about this film. One is that this man is doing all of this. He's going through all these lengths to get back his job. But as you said, Sonja, more his sense of identity. But it's not even to like get necessarily a leg up or to be better. He's going for the same fucking middle management position that he had before. It's just like,
right.
You get this job and then what?
Yeah.
You're right back where you were. It's not even that he's trying to like reach for the stars. He's trying to do, play his part in the cog of the machine. That's a tragic part about it. But then the other tragic part is like both his wife and the other character that you're referring to, Sonja, who has totally gone off the rails and gone into alcoholism and is lazy and just moping around the house and not showering. For both of those men, they don't see that they have either a wife or a family that cares about them, and they are less concerned about him having, like his dream job or like keeping up appearances. They're more upset about the way that they are handling the situation, and they cannot pull themselves away from that to recognize, like, if I just shift my perspective, then perhaps I can still have a great life. But that's easier said than done. That's a lot easier said than done.
Well, he even repeats it to the guy, like our main character, Mansu, hears the other guy's wife say, "Why don't you open a music cafe? You love music so much." And he's like, "No, I'm a paper man for life, pulp man of the year." Mm-hmm. And then when Mansu's about to shoot him, he's like, "Why didn't you just open a cafe, so I don't have to shoot you?" But then when Mansu's own wife says, "Hey, you could do whatever." Mm-hmm. I forget what she says, that he
loves gardening,
into, like botany and stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't you do something with plants? And he's like, "I'm a paper man, pulp man of the year. That's who I am." And which is so human that like we totally have no perspective on self when we can like see the other person so clearly. That he does have another choice, contrary to the title of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also think that's a male thing. I'm just going to
100%. I mean,
out there.
That's why all of it hits you on the head with that, because when his industry contracts and all these layoffs happen, there's this great sequence where all of the laid off dudes are in this like self-help group, and it's nothing but men. There's no women in there, and they're all just trying to like do these things to get back to their sense of self. I must support my family. I must do this. I can do this. I will do this. But it's all these sad dudes,
Real sad. Yeah.
Because his wife is like quick to problem solve. She's like, I'm going to get a part-time job. We're cutting Netflix. We're getting rid of the dogs. I'm cutting tennis. It's like, she's a problem solver. She's able to adapt. She's able to adapt to this situation with much greater ease than he is.
Well, and I think that women probably, and I'm just saying this like as a generalization, not just from the film, like that women's identity comes from like a different place. And women's sense of self, like it's probably evolutionary.
The breast size,
Like-
breast size, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Just making sure
my goodness.
my theories were correct.
That's such a guy thing to say. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I see it with friends all the time. Like the guys seem to beat themselves over the head a lot harder about how much work they get done and what their work is than my female friends who seem adaptable.
At least like all the women in the film seem to have a better view of the big picture, or a better way of understanding and like taking in the big picture, I guess you could say. Like she's still thinking about the kids, and she's thinking about the dogs, and she's thinking about the house, and she's also thinking about, like, she's giving him solutions, like, you know, you love this too. She's thinking about him, and he's just Monsu is just like so in his own world, like he's just operating completely outside of reality in a way.
He's got tunnel vision.
Exactly. And even like Gubumo, I think is his name, the alcoholic one, like his wife even, you know, like you guys said, gives the music cafe option. It's like interesting to see how the women are like almost driven to insanity by these men at the end of this film, some in more violent ways than others. So there's a really interesting like contrast and gender dynamics at play throughout the entirety of the film.
Yeah, well, they even point to it with the guy who is the paper executive, the third and final.
Right.
He's so obsessed with whatever sense of identity he's in search for that he's like living alone on this island, like doing this fake happy life on Instagram, but his wife won't come with him, and he's just like completely miserable, like sad sack.
Right.
Yeah.
Also full on alcoholic. But as much as we're talking about all this serious stuff, this movie is so fucking funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Like, oh my God. I saw this movie at the Academy Theater, which I think holds like 1,000 people.
Wow.
And a lot of them were Korean speakers. It was like a screening with the director and the lead actor. And they would like laugh before those of us that had to like read the subtitles. So just like this wave of like first laugh and second laugh, like throughout the whole movie.
Oh, that's amazing.
No, it is so like satirical and like darkly comedic. And I think that's what makes this movie great. Like, because otherwise it would just be sad.
It'd be too sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I had kind of the opposite theater experience. I felt like a lot of the people in my theater didn't know that it was supposed to be funny. And so me and Jonathan were like the only ones just dying laughing. I think everyone thought we were insane, but I agree. It's written on the walls. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. And the performances are so strong. I think I was listening to an interview with the filmmaker and Lee Byung-hun, who plays Monsu, and he was talking about how like American audiences, an American critic called his performance slapstick, and he said that he didn't even know he was doing slapstick until they said that, which I think is so funny because a lot of it is like him falling down hills or like screaming, running away like a cartoon character, but kind of having a more serious approach to it that he took, I think also makes it even funnier. And it's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I mean, the costuming when he's running around in like the waders, like the thing that like a fisherman would wear because he was recently bit by a snake in the same like bushes. So now he's like got his like protection. Right. And he has his oven mitts on.
What he just keeps pulling oven mitts off of his thing to put. It's so good.
Oh my God. Well, I think that's possibly the funniest scene in the whole film, as well as the loud music aspect of that scene.
That scene is, aside from perhaps that sinner scene that we discussed, my favorite scene of the year, because one, it's the turning point of the film. It's the point of no return.
Right.
It's like, all right, he's doing it. We're officially doing this.
Yeah.
Mansu goes to kill his first victim in his house. There's a great needle drop in the scene. It's a song called Red Pepper Dragonfly by Cho Young Pil. Which is an apt song, not just for like the themes and the lyrics and the title, but it has these movements, that song, that just kind of like switches tempos, and it just really helps escalate the scene and the tension. And they have that music cranked up so the characters are screaming over the music as the two men are discussing why he's killing him and why he deserves to live. And it's almost like he's talking to a mirror. And the music just helps escalate these actions and these reactions of the character. And it's funny, but it's also sad. Like, the performance of the man that he kills is like so heartbreaking when he's just like talk to him about like, I'm an engineer, like I'm worth something. Like, you could see the pain in his heart, and it's just like, dude, that scene's firing on all cylinders. It's really something to marvel at, and it's Park Chan-wook at its finest, because it's got all the elements of his work. Super inventive camera work, slapstick comedy, and heart-wrenching character work.
Yeah, and to add to it, like, you also have the victim's wife standing silently behind Mansu. And so with the guy he's going to kill, like, that guy's performance, he's pleading for his life, but it's also almost like literally gun to your head confession to his wife of like all the unspoken things between them. And she's sitting there like pausing of like hurting this man that's about to kill her husband just to hear it.
Right.
And so, yeah, that dynamic at play there as well is, like you said, so Park Chan-wook, and just like so funny and so devastating simultaneously.
That is the scene where you're like, I'm all in on this movie now. Or for me, it was.
Yeah.
Before, I was kind of like also unsure I wasn't really sure if he would go that far. But once you know that he's going to actually do, like, I thought he might make friends with the guy.
He's not sure that he's going to go that far. That's the turning point of the film, where he's like, you can't go back now. You're doing this, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other sad part, is like every man that he encounters on this murderous journey, it's all dudes that you unspokenly, you see this look in his eye, was just like, damn, I like you. Like, we could totally be like great friends. We have a lot in common.
Yeah. He kind of gives into it with the final guy. They like, breaks his sobriety, and they're just on a rampage together, which ends in one of the most horrifying murders I've seen in a long time. It's so twisted.
Yeah. Well, I like how each kill escalates so much to like by the third time he's like a fucking professional.
Yeah. Oh, it's eerie.
You know what I was going to ask? Do you happen to know? Because at one point sees the paper executive, and he's just going to kill him right then and there before he hatches his more complicated plan. And he picks up this giant potted plant, which happens to be a red pepper plant, and he's going to drop it on the guy's head. But then he's interrupted, and it's very funny. He ends up buying the plant and taking it home. And then you mentioned that song is called Red Pepper Dragonfly. So I'm wondering if there's a significance of red peppers in Korean culture, which I don't know anything about Korean culture, unfortunately, besides Parasite.
Masculinity.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that. Oh, wow. I heard that in this interview I was listening to, that he actually didn't know what the song title was when he picked it. He just heard it and was like, that's the song. And it happened to be Red Pepper. And he was like, wow, it was meant to be. It came to me, came to me in a dream kind of situation. But that's interesting. The masculinity is, that's kind of the essence and the downfall of the characters in this film.
Yeah, absolutely. And my other question is, what do you think the significance of his toothache and eventually tooth extraction is?
So the toothache is just the nagging pain of life and capitalism. It's just like there's always something, be like, oh goddamn, that fucking thing that I just can't like get rid of. But it morphs, like the deeper he goes into these kills, the toothache gets worse. So it becomes like, the way that I read it was like, it becomes this kind of like guilt thing, like this, basically this monkey off his back that he can't get rid of. It's all this pressure of everything that's happening, which the pressure is turned up to 11 when he starts murdering dudes. And when he's in that final dude's house and he pulls the tooth out, he has like finally let go of his guilt. And he's just like, this is me. I'm doing it now. And that's why that kill is the most insane and the most twisted, is because he's not reserved anymore. He has totally accepted his fate and is
skilled murderer.
He has become more of the bosses who fired him than the everyman that has been fired.
Yeah.
That's how I read it. That's how I read it.
I think that's, yeah, I agree with that. Because it's something I feel like I've seen in a lot of movies, to be honest, like a character that's going through something really terrible. And then on top of it, they have that, like you said, nagging physical ailment. Yeah. But I think it's really, it's like one of those plot points where you're like, this has to come out at some point, which is also metaphorical, like to your point. And the way it comes out is violent and disturbing. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yuck. If you have a toothache, maybe don't watch this movie. Get that toothache taken care of first, and then check out this flick.
Will give you a really bad idea.
Well, it's also no coincidence that his wife becomes a dental hygienist, but he refuses to go to the dentist.
Right.
That's right.
For the freaking tooth. It's like, I gotta do it myself.
Yeah.
Just another example of the woman trying to provide a solution, and he's just like, whatever, blinders.
We are idiots. I mean, there were so many, unfortunately, sadly, there were so many elements of this man's suit character that I related to. Like, it's just like so many times Sonja's like, I've had this goddamn cough situation for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
And so he's just like, gotta take care of my guy. Why?
Why would I do that?
Well, don't kill anyone, please.
Oh, you'll have my back.
Yeah, but I don't think it bodes well for their relationship overall.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, like, yeah, she chooses him, but, they do the flip of, which I love so much.
Yeah.
That moment, there's a moment in the beginning where we're kind of, it's the moment where Monsu is like, what the fuck am I going to do? And there's this brilliant sound design where it's really silent, and then all of the surrounding sounds of like nature and his wife and his kids getting in the car like comes in very aggressively, and it's extremely grating, even though it's like natural sounds that we hear every day. And then they flip it at the end as he's going off to work because he's secured the job, and they flip it onto his wife, and it's just like her realizing that everything happened.
Right. She's in her head now. Now she's got the secret.
Yeah, now she has a secret. And yeah, exactly. So I love a bookend. And I thought that was just brilliant.
Well, I think then we should probably just at least touch on the actual, like the literal ending of the film.
Oh, true. Yeah, it is.
Just because, especially the first, I've seen the movie twice now, especially the first time, he gets a job. And it turns out that he's going to be running a factory floor that has no human employees. book ended with, at the very beginning of the film, remember when the American company buys his company and he doesn't think he's going to get laid off, and he's like going to make this big speech about the people that work under him, you know, the importance of a team and blah, blah, blah. And now he has like no values anymore. He's like, oh yeah, like I'll just watch machines work all day.
Yeah.
So there's that whole aspect. And then they decide to just go one step further and juxtapose it with all of these autonomous machines ripping trees out of the ground. The trees that, you know, will eventually become the paper that is also made by machines. But then you have to think like, but who uses paper? Not machines.
Right.
So it's like us. So why is like paper even like, I mean, that was a choice to make that the industry that they're in the first place. Right. But yeah, I just thought that it was profound, poetic, heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's a wallop of an ending. It's the ending that made me type that adjective horrifying in my Letterboxd review, because it is just seeing a single man in a room full of machines was so foreboding and just like, oh my God, this is totally where we're going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
Like Twilight Zone becoming a reality.
Yeah. Anyways, on that note.
But it's funny. I swear it's funny.
It's funny.
It's really
It's a lot of funny. Good times.
Oh, that silence said everything you needed to hear. Yeah.
It's like, you know, hey, you can't talk to the machines. So what are you left with?
Exactly.
Silence.
We could talk to each other about these wonderful pictures. That's what we can do.
Yes.
And my friends, if you want to talk to us about these wonderful pictures or about what your favorite films of the year were, there are a few ways to do that. You can go to Instagram, Gimme 3 Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 Podcast. Gimme 3 Podcast. You can slide into our DMs there. You can message us. Let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know what you think of the show. Or if you have suggestions about movies or themes that you'd like us to talk about, you can go to Gimme 3 Podcast on Instagram. You can do all of those things also by sending us a text message. Scroll down to our episode description and click the link that says send us a text message. It's going to go directly into our inbox. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the Gimme 3 Podcast and you want to support us, there's 3 ways to do that. Give me 3 ways to support the show. We have a Patreon. For a mere $5 a month, you can support us. You can check out some bonus content that's on there. It also just helps us keep the mics on. So check out our Patreon for $5 a month. Cheaper than a coffee, cheaper than a beer. You can also just set our episodes to automatically download our episodes on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. Really helps out our show. The third and final way is to just let your friends know. If you've got friends who are cinephiles, friends who love movies, or friends who enjoy nice voices, you can just send them our podcast and they'll enjoy the show. Sonja, do you want to let the lovely folks know where they can find you on Letterboxd?
Yeah, I'm Sonja M. SONJAM.
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 Bella, do you want to let the lovely folks know where they can find you on the socials?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd at BFStratus.
And you can find me on Letterboxd, on Instagram, or on Blue Sky at Nicholas Ibarra. Ibarra is spelled with a Y. Ladies, thank you both. That was a really fun time, and appreciate all your thoughts and insights on that one.
Same to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I can't wait to hear what you guys pick for the other episodes.
Yeah, stay tuned for some more favorites of 2025 coming up in the next few weeks. So you're going to want to listen to those. We want to thank you all for listening to the Gimme 3 Podcast, and we will see you at the movies.